Grandpa, is it happening again? I'll never forget that night, 2 a.m. His heavy breathing woke the whole house. He sat on the edge of the bed, clutching his calf like someone had just squeezed it tight. Sudden cramps made his leg twitch uncontrollably. My mom rushed to grab a bottle of heating oil. I stood frozen watching him grimace, groaning softly through clenched teeth. People think, eat healthy. You won't lack nutrients. So why, despite all those healthy foods, did my grandpa still get those vicious nighttime leg cramps? I started paying attention. Every day, he ate fruit, drank enough water, took light walks in the evening. But at night, he'd still need ice packs. Sometimes the cramps were so bad he almost fell off the bed. His friend from the senior group, Clara, said she used to suffer the same way. But after switching a few foods, she hadn't had a cramp in 6 months. It sounded simple. But for my grandpa, who'd tried everything without success, her advice felt like a cruel joke. Here's the strange truth. Eating enough nutrients doesn't always stop cramps. In fact, some foods labeled good for your heart or great for blood pressure can throw off electrolyte balance in people over 70 without them even realizing it. If you or someone you love are drinking enough water, eating bananas daily, and still waking up with leg cramps at night, you might be doing it wrong. In this video, I'll share my grandpa's story, a man who couldn't sleep deeply because of leg cramps, and the journey we took to find foods that prevent leg cramps in seniors. No pills, no expensive supplements, just simple items you can find at your local grocery store. These changed his nights completely. Have you heard of kiwi cantaloupe or watermelon? Did you know eating them at the wrong time or choosing the wrong type can disrupt the nervous system in seniors, triggering cramps at any moment? This story isn't just about food. It's about losing control, fearing the night, and the recovery you can achieve if you take the right steps. Have you ever woken up from a painful leg cramp? Does someone you know go through this? Drop a comment below, because your story might help someone find relief. When he was young, my grandpa was a logistics soldier, tough, never complained about pain, and certainly never fussed about sleep. But now, at 72, he lived with a quiet fear, dread of the night. Every time I close my eyes, I brace for the pain, he once said, his voice hollow, like he couldn't believe he'd become so frail. It started with one night, then a week, then a month. Each cramp felt like a slap to his pride, a man who'd once been so strong. Our family tried everything: coconut water, magnesium supplements, even muscle relaxants prescribed by a doctor. One doctor suggested quinine, which I later learned the FDA warns against for seniors due to side effects. I scoured the internet, searching leg cramps in seniors, muscle cramps, foods that prevent leg cramps in seniors. But the more I read, the more confused I got. Every article said bananas were great drink. More water stretch your legs. So why was he still in pain? We believed piling on potassium would fix it. He started eating a banana every morning, and I even bought fresh orange juice thinking it would boost electrolytes. But instead of improving, he complained of heavier legs, slept less, and started losing weight from lack of appetite. Worse, he felt like no one understood what he was going through. People said, "It's just age, rest more. Everyone gets this when they're older." But those words didn't ease his pain. They just made him feel abandoned. One night, after a cramp that lasted nearly 8 minutes, he sat in silence for a long time, then said, "I think my body's slowly shutting down, kid." My heart sank. Not because of his leg pain, but because of his eyes exhausted, resigned like he was waiting for something worse. Questions swirled in my head. Were we missing something? Could the things we thought were helping actually be hurting him? I'll never forget him saying, "All I want is one night without fear." That hit me hard. A full night's sleep, something so normal for most people, had become a luxury for him. We'd tried everything, except questioning whether the healthy foods he ate daily might be the culprit. Have you ever believed something for years only to realize it was wrong? Share below. Your story might save someone from unnecessary pain. Everything changed one Saturday morning when I stumbled across an article on Mayo Clinic's website. The headline read, "Some healthy foods can trigger leg cramps in older adults." I couldn't believe my eyes. Wasn't fruit and water supposed to be good? But the article explained that in people over 60, electrolyte balance and nerve signaling work differently. Good foods, eaten at the wrong time or in the wrong way, can worsen muscle cramps. I kept reading. 3 lines stopped me cold. Overripe bananas spike insulin and can increase muscle fatigue. Red grapes, while rich in antioxidants, can dehydrate the body if overeaten without minerals. Watermelon, high in fructose, can flush out magnesium and potassium if not paired with electrolytes. Those 3 fruits, my grandpa ate them almost daily. We thought we were doing the right thing. But at 72, his body reacted completely differently. I started reviewing everything he ate. I made a list what he had for breakfast, lunch, dinner. When cramps hit, how bad they were. After a week of tracking, one thing stood out days: when he ate ripe bananas, drank orange juice, or had lots of red grapes, his chances of nighttime cramps spiked. I turned to YouTube, watching nutrition experts for seniors. A doctor from Harvard Medical School said, in older adults, it's not about lacking potassium, but balancing sodium, magnesium, and how the body uses them. That's when it clicked. Foods that prevent leg cramps in seniors aren't just about eating enough. It's about the right type, the right time, and the right balance. I wrote down 3 key rules. Cut back on natural sugars and overripe fruit. They spike insulin and drain electrolytes. Increase foods with natural magnesium, like pumpkin seeds, avocado, and leafy greens without spiking insulin. Spread out potassium intake. Don't load it all in the morning so the body absorbs it slowly and stays balanced. I printed a small chart and stuck it on the fridge for him to see daily. And for the first time in months, he had a full night's sleep, no waking up in pain. But don't celebrate yet. It wasn't that simple. Are you eating healthy, but still feeling tired, cramping, or sleeping poorly? Try tracking your meals for 3 days. You might uncover something even your doctor missed. The first week after changing his diet, he slept noticeably better. No sudden pains in the night. I breathed a sigh of relief. He was thrilled, even joking. They'll put me in the paper soon. Old man cures cramps with daily avocado. But that joy lasted exactly 9 days. On the 10th night, around 3 a.m., I heard his faint groan again. This time, it wasn't a single sound. His voice dragged, choked, like something was strangling him. I rushed in. He was curled up, face twisted, his right hand gripping his calf like he wanted to rip it off. He kept repeating, "It hurts worse than ever." I froze. How could this be? We'd changed his foods, cut bananas, dropped grapes, added greens, avocado, electrolyte water. Yet the cramps were back worse than before. Helplessness washed over me. I felt like I'd betrayed him. I was the one who pushed the new diet, reassured him every night, promised we'd find a way out. And now I didn't know what went wrong. The days after he grew quieter, no more jokes. He ate less at breakfast. When I asked if he wanted to tweak the diet, he just shook his head. You've done enough, but maybe this stuff doesn't work for me. That was the first time I saw him give up. I sat for hours poring over my notes. What went wrong? Did we miss something? I rechecked everything he ate. Then I stopped at something I'd overlooked: unsweetened almond milk. Every morning, he used it in his oatmeal. I'd never checked its ingredients. I dug deeper and found that many almond milks are fortified with calcium and contain citrate and acid that can overstimulate muscles in seniors low on magnesium. It boosts calcium absorption, but can silently deplete magnesium to dangerous levels. We thought we'd done everything right. But one tiny ingredient undid all our efforts. That's when I realized, in the journey to better health in old age, every detail matters. There's no one-size-fits-all. A senior's body is a complex system where even a small food choice can trigger a domino effect. I didn't tell him right away. I needed to be sure to test again, but this time with absolute caution, not guessing, but tracking his body's real responses. Have you ever thought you were doing the right thing, only to find one small detail was quietly sabotaging everything? Share your story. It might help someone avoid unnecessary pain. My grandpa used to say, especially after disappointments, maybe my body's just old, and I have to learn to live with it. I didn't agree. But the more I researched, the smaller I felt in this maze of conflicting information. I started to fear I was leading him into a food labyrinth where every turn could mean more pain. Then one afternoon, while waiting for him at physical therapy, a white-haired lady, stocky, with a cheerful face, sat next to me. She struck up a conversation, asking what was wrong with my grandpa. I told her about his cramps, the sleepless nights, and the foods we'd tried. She laughed a warm, knowing laugh. Oh, honey, I had the same thing. Ate bananas, watermelon, thought I was being healthy. Then a nurse at the retirement center told me to try one kiwi and half an avocado before bed. Haven't had a cramp in months. My jaw dropped. Kiwi and avocado. It sounded too simple, but I jotted it down. That night, I researched immediately. Here's what I found: kiwi, not just rich in potassium, but also natural serotonin, which regulates nerves and reduces muscle spasms. Green kiwi has actinidin, an enzyme that aids protein digestion, improving magnesium absorption. Avocado, beyond healthy fats, it's one of the highest natural sources of magnesium, without spiking insulin like ripe bananas or red grapes. Together, kiwi and avocado don't just supply minerals. They stabilize muscle and nerve activity during sleep when cramps often strike. I revised the plan. Not a total diet overhaul, just one change. Add kiwi and avocado at a fixed time before bed. That's it. No almond milk, no supplements. We tried it for 3 days. On the third night, he slept 7 hours straight, the first time since last Christmas. No pain, no waking, no groans, just soft, steady snoring, the sound of an old man finally at peace. I didn't say anything. I waited. By day 10, no cramps. Any night, I quietly told him about the lady at the therapy center. He chuckled. Maybe we owe her more than the doctors. Has a random piece of advice ever turned out truer than 100 websites? Don't underestimate real experience. Sometimes someone else's story lights the way. On the 12th morning, I walked into the kitchen, and there he was, On the table, a small plate with neatly sliced half an avocado, a kiwi cut in two, and a steaming mug of peppermint tea. He looked up, his eyes brighter than they'd been in months. Last night, I slept without feeling my legs, meaning they didn't hurt so much I had to notice them. That made me laugh. In his own way, he'd redefined happiness, not gaining something new, but losing the constant pain. Since starting kiwi and avocado an hour before bed, he didn't just stop cramping. Other things changed. He woke up earlier, not from pain, but to go for a walk. He talked more, even joking, with the silver-haired neighbor. He stopped skipping breakfast and reminded me to buy kiwi every weekend. I tracked his progress closely. After 3 weeks, he slept well for 17 nights straight. I checked his blood pressure, blood sugar, knee reflexes, all normal. Then one early spring morning, he grabbed his familiar canvas bag and said, "No need to go to the market. I'll walk to the store for fruit. This time I'll ask if they have cherries, cantaloupe, or raspberries. Heard those are good for blood vessels." I stood there stunned. The man who once feared getting out of bed because of cramps was now excited to explore more foods that prevent leg cramps in seniors. I realized one small, well-timed change can spark an inner drive, turning seniors from victims of aging into active players in their health, one meal at a time. No costly pills, no fancy medical devices. Just listening to the body, understanding how to eat right, and starting with something small you can stick to daily. Peaceful sleep. Legs that don't jerk at midnight. A sunny morning with steady steps on the sidewalk. That's not a far-off dream. It's reality if you choose the right foods at the right time for the right body. Have you ever thought a small food choice done right could transform the quality of life in old age? Try kiwi and avocado before bed for a week and let me know what happens. I still remember his last night with a cramp. Not because it hurt more than before, but because after that night, everything changed. No more startled cries in the dark. No more huddling on the bed's edge. No more resigned looks when he said, "Maybe it's just old age. I have to live with the pain." Instead, there's a new man at 72 who wakes early to walk, brews his own tea, and smiles saying, "Last night, I slept like a rock. We didn't use heavy meds, no new doctors. We just tweaked a few things in his daily meals and stayed patient, adjusting as his body responded." If you're waking up nightly with leg cramps, if you still think pain's just normal with age, let me ask, when was the last time you slept through the night? Have you tried something new? Really listening to your body for 7 days straight? Aging doesn't mean accepting every pain. You can still choose start fresh and find what works for your body. For my grandpa, it was one simple combo kiwi and avocado at the right time every day. For you, it might be cantaloupe cherries or pomegranate, but you won't know until you try. Don't wait until broken sleep becomes your norm. Don't let pain quietly turn into a habit. If this story feels like your own, or reminds you of someone who suffered like my grandpa, share this video with them. Comment below, "I'm trying this food tonight," and start your own recovery journey. I'll read every single one. If this video helped, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll keep sharing real stories, real recoveries from the grandparents, aunts, and uncles around you every day. Curious, why can eating bananas daily make cramps worse for people over 60? Which liver-cooling fruit might secretly strip your electrolytes at night? Check out the video linked next. This healthy snack could be the number one reason for your nighttime leg cramps, where you'll learn why the healthiest things might be the ones silently causing your pain.